Okay, so now that we know what the notes are in music that we're looking for, let's look at how to find them on our keyboard here. So the reference I always use is right here. So see, you've got groups of 3 black keys, and then you've got a group of 2 black keys here in the middle. I always use that as a reference because it's easy to pick out, and the white key between the 2 black ones is D. Okay, so either side of D, we've got B and C and E and F. Now you'll remember from the last video that those are the 2 sets of notes that don't have sharps or flats in between them, and that's why there's no black key in between these 2. So B, C, D, E, F. And then if we go either side of that again, we have an A and a G, and then it repeats over and over again. So this here would also be a G, and then we go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and so on and so forth as we go down. So one thing that you will hear about is middle C. Okay, so that's just the C that is around the center of the keyboard or the piano, whichever it is that you're playing. The reason that that's important is when we come to work with written music, you need to know where middle C is, because you have a bass clef and a treble clef that play basically either side of that. So the middle C goes above the bass clef and below the treble clef. So it just helps you to place the right notes in the right places according to where they are meant to be for that piece of music. Okay, so that's nice and simple with our white keys. And remember, if we flatten a note, we're moving it down a semitone. If we sharpen it, we move it up a semitone. So if you haven't seen the last video on the notes of music, jump onto my website if you're not already on there, and just go to the first video in keyboard beginner lessons, and that will tell you what all these notes are, and you'll understand what we're talking about. Okay, so if we start here at A, okay, so after that we have A sharp, which is also B flat. Okay, and then straight to C, C sharp, which is also D flat. Okay, and then D, D sharp, which is also E flat. No sharp or flat between E and F. Then F sharp, which can also be called G flat. And then G sharp, which is also called A flat. And then we start again back to A sharp. And there's my cat, coming to have a look to learn the keyboard too. Okay, so that's all the notes on the keyboard, and all it does is it repeats as the keys repeat up and down the keyboard. Okay, so now you know where to find that. One thing that I find I come across a lot is people that confuse the flat note with minor. So if I ask them to play, say, a B minor, they confuse that with B flat. Or if I say B flat, they confuse that with B minor. Now minor is a type of chord, which we'll get to once we're learning chords and scales. But right now you don't need to worry about that term. Just remember flats for our notes. So now that we know where all of those are, we can move on to our next lesson.